Welcome everyone. Today I have a new guide for Diablo 4 for leveling in Season 2. So in this video, what I want to do is I want to share with you guys what is good to use in leveling in Season 2 and what are being buffed, including the overworld Legion events, Helltide, and also Trail of Whispers, and also World Boss. And after that, I will start to go through one step at a time to see at what level of the stage can you be doing what activity. So I'll provide you guys with a number of options. For example, going for random events will give you obos to allow you for gamble for legendaries in the latest stage of the game. You can be going for Legion events or going to farm dungeons of different type for better experience and also better item loots. We'll then have a look what to do after World Difficulty 2, what to do after World Difficulty 3, and also what to do after World Difficulty 4, including doing the Helltide and also the Vampire Tide, which is a seasonal theme, and also the World Boss for extra loots. And finally, once you reach beyond level 70, you can be doing certain type of nightmare dungeons to guarantee yourself to have the highest item cap for item level 920 for the better ancestral loots for the latest stage of the game. So coming over to the first part, what is the difference between Season 1 and Season 2 is that the overall activity was buffed, kind of massively compared to previously. And this allows us to really focus on doing a bit of Helltide, Legion events, and also Trail of Whispers if you want to mix up of the things you're doing. It is still very efficient and profitable, later you're going to see, to farm certain dungeons. And there have been additional dungeons added and rotated this time for nightmare dungeons, which will make a use and also learn from Rex a little bit, which we'll talk about those dungeons in this video. So starting with Season 2, we'll be making one character and starting on World Difficulty 1 for the fastest leveling and also just the startup. And we'll be skipping the campaign. And remember to claim all of your paragons and all of your extra skill points from the Reynolds, because that is no longer resetting. We're also making sure that we start the vampire theme seasonal quest, because this can potentially give us additional loot and also allows us to interact with different events. If we don't start this one, maybe we'll be missing out as we level up. Now from level 1 to level 15, we have a number of choices, and here I do want to go under to the third one in a little more details. So the first choice we have, what I usually do is I do a bit of random events and also opals. This will make my initial leveling a little slower, but this will allows me to have 400 or even 500, 600 opals to be gambling for certain legendary pieces at the gambler once I need those pieces. So this is optional, but this is very rewarding if you can do a few of those. Other than doing the random events right away, if you do see a Legion event on the map or the World Boss on the map as you start to play in the early stage of the game, definitely have a look to try for those. It is said that it's not that time efficient initially because it might take way too long to kill the World Boss. So be careful guys, if you're killing the World Boss at much lower levels, you might get wiped because the World Boss have been increasing difficulty and also increasing rewards. I recommend going for the World Boss after you have gotten some gears and also some levels, because similarly other players might have no gears and no levels and everyone's just there waiting for someone to kill the boss. But doing the Legion event in the early stage of the game is still profitable on World Difficulty 1 and World Difficulty 2. Now if you guys want to be efficient and also get the fastest leveling path, I still recommend going for any of the dungeons that is available in the game that can be resetted very quickly. So I remember in a video Rex was saying to do the dopamine tunnels, and here I do have the dopamine tunnels. I have tried the dopamine tunnels. I'll share with you guys over here. So let's come over to any of the interactive map. So if you come over to the Kobach, the waypoint in Strand, the dopamine tunnels is located over here. So if you teleport to this location, come over to this dungeon, you can be resetting this dungeon. For me personally, I actually like this particular dungeon, which is called the Asika Claim. This dungeon has to be unlocked by doing the Stronghold event in Manok, and this is the only difference. So what I do over here is I'll quickly show you guys a bit of replay of both of the dungeons, and I'll attach this one at the end of the video. So once you come over to the dopamine tunnels, you're going to see there's a pretty high density of monsters. So the best part about this is that you don't have to save the prisoners. You're just here to do the first part of the rotation, and once you do the first part of rotation, they will then teleport out and then reset the dungeon. And you can repeat this one very fast, very efficiently. Now the idea behind this is you can be getting some items from those tunnels, but majority of the case you're actually just getting experience from this tunnel. So once I'm done on the first part of the tunnel, which I'll quickly show you guys, I'll attach this one at the end of the video if you guys want to have a look. And just in case you're wondering, I'm not clearing everything over here, I'm clearing as much as I can in one run. And this is a shield break, like bulwark druid, so it's not the best clearer. So this is the path, or I guess the map for the dopamine tunnels. You just have to clear up to the point and kill most of the monsters, and then you can reset the dungeon. And this particular method is extremely, I guess, efficient, because you're not looking for anything, you're just repetitively doing one thing to gain experience and also to gain levels. And once you teleport out, and if you press J to reset, you teleport in, the dungeon is resetted. So every minute or two, you could clear this dungeon by yourself or with a friend or with several friends to gain tons of experience. And this can work all the way up to the nightmare dungeons. And once you get to the nightmare dungeons, you don't have to do this anymore, but you'll be very fast to nightmare dungeons. Now, similar to the dopamine tunnels, you can come over to the Anisha Claim tunnel, or I guess Anisha Claim dungeon. You can notice that in this dungeon, there will be scaled shaped monsters, which are unique monsters. And those are not unique monsters, those are rare monsters, or elites. So once you kill those elite monsters, this particular dungeon has less monster density, but it has more elite monsters. What that means is, if you short on rare and also legendary items, you could come over to this dungeon for still very decent experience, but a lot of more drops. So I'll also attach this particular run through for you guys as well to have a look. You can see the difference. The first dungeon gives more experience. The second dungeon gives you more items. So you can mix it up. You can do maybe 10 rounds of the first dungeon and then do 5 rounds of this dungeon to get your items. And then level up again and then come back for your items. Now, you guys might be wondering, how come you're spending so much time on those tunnels and those dungeons? Because this is by far considered the most efficient way of leveling, but I also provide you guys with other method. And don't worry guys, we don't have to go to details with the other ones. So one thing to notice is that in one of the guide from Rex's video, because he later talked about the nightmare dungeons, he mentioned that the flooded depth. So this is a dungeon that is gated behind the stronghold, behind the Light's Hope stronghold. You have to clear this stronghold to be accessible to the flooded depth nightmare dungeons. So if you guys in your early stage of the game want to clear this one, make sure you come over here to clear this one for the later stage once you can do the nightmare dungeons. Now once we get to level 15, it is optional guys to do the class quest, or you can come back for this one for later. If you are on a roll and you don't want to travel too much, you can do the class quest much later. So from level 16 to all the way up to level 40, even level 50, you can use this method. So the two methods I'm recommending is try the overall event with rock balls, vampire event, the Trail of Whispers, and also random events for a bunch of additional loots. But you can also farm a particular dungeon like the two I showed you guys. The Alicia's Claim and also the dopamine tunnels combined is really good. Now during this time, once you get around level 40 up to level 50, you can find some of your key legendary aspects, craft those, and also have a good weapon upgraded at the blacksmith. Have an elixir ready and also try to solo the capstone for world difficulty 3. And once you can unlock world difficulty 3, a lot of better things comes into the game. Better in terms of experience and also better in terms of loots. So here it's quite important guys for us to attempt the capstone as early as we can, but you don't want to fail too much. So I think around level 45 to level 50 is a good timing to try this out. And yes, we can be farming the dungeons to reset all the way up to level 50. And once we get into world difficulty 3, then it is much easier to transition into an endgame build and then start to benefit from world events, legion events, and also the nightmare dungeon experience. So once you guys get to level 50, one thing to notice guys, if you're a little under leveled and if you got carried onto world difficulty 3 and you find yourself a little weaker, you should be doing legion events in the overworld whenever possible. Because legion event spawns every 25 minutes now, and they give tons of experience, better legendaries, and also a lot of rares. The best thing is, you don't have to be the only one that's killing the higher level monsters. So if you're under leveled in world difficulty 3 or 4, make sure you do the legion event every time when it's up. Now once you guys are strong enough in world difficulty 3, after level 50 of course, you can be looking into Hell Tide and also the Vampire Tide event. So we have had a video previously to show you the difference between the two and also, what happens with the seasonal theme with the vampires. They're pretty much Hell Tide and Vampire Tide, and you're basically hunting monsters and also collecting materials like the Fiend Rose and also Forgotten Souls. So after World Difficulty 3, you should definitely look for World Boss, because World Boss can potentially drop secret and also ancient items after World Difficulty 4. Together with unique items, this is very good for the additional loots. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that once you get to level 50, your goal and also main source of experience will be coming from Nightmare Dungeons. I do remember that once you have cleared Nightmare Dungeon 3 or 4 a few times, you can then finish off the quest at the Oculus and then you can be crafting your own Nightmare Dungeons. So here what I do recommend is checking out Rax's Nightmare Dungeon list for Season 2 tier list. And if we have a look at the solo experience, you can see there's a bunch of dungeons. You want to avoid the dungeons that's between maybe C and D tier. You want to go for the dungeon that is A and S tier. Something like the Sissoko Caverns and also the Flooded Death can be really good for additional experience. Now, once we have cleared out the capstone dungeon for World Difficulty 4, around level 60, 65 or 70, we can then look towards in crafting the highest level gems, and then after level 70 with World Difficulty 4, we'll be focused on to be able to push for tier 46 above Nightmare Dungeons, which will spawn level 100 plus monsters, and those monsters would drop the best item power level 920 available in the game. And that all the way can take us to level 100. So it's pretty simple. So firstly, you decide whether you want to do the world events or you want to do a tunnel, maybe a dungeon, all the way up to World Difficulty 2 and 3. And once you do that, once you get into World Difficulty 3, you go for the Nightmare Dungeons. And once you get to World Difficulty 4, you still do the Nightmare Dungeons and you look for the best ones to do. So hopefully this particular video gave you guys a good guidance and also a good way of understanding what to do in Season 2. It is very similar to Season 1, but with additional benefits of having more options and also mixing things up instead of just doing the dungeons. And yes, I'll be making more videos as the season comes out and show you guys my build and also my particular pathway of leveling and also choices of soloing the boss or maybe going for different dungeons, different events, and how to get more loots in Season 2. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of Diablo 4 related topics and also videos and also guides. We'll be looking to the top meta builds, non-meta builds, leveling up, and also Paragon tricks. We're also looking to the latest events and also official updates and also changes to different characters and also different builds in the game. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn the notification on, because a lot of you who are watching the videos have not subscribed. You can see 80% of the viewers who are watching our videos have not subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for the latest update for Diablo 4.
I must wait a moment. I must wait a moment. I'm not ready yet. I must wait a moment. I must wait a moment. I'm not ready yet. I must wait a moment. I must wait a moment. need more time.